Whoa, recording in progress. Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. Today we're recording online because Collin is sick. Say hello, Collin.
Hi.
That was funny because the internet glitched, so it sounded like super duper glitchy and dead. Speaking of dead, Spencer is not here. He's dead. But I want to remind you, it is the middle of No Nut November, boys, and we are still going strong. So, dead or not, Spencer owes his $1.25 absence fee into the jar.
Yeah.
We do not have a jar set up. So we're going to have to do this whole episode without bonks.
Yeah. No bonks.
No bonks. No
bonks.
nuts. No bonks.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
No nuts, no bonks. And Spencer has to pay $1.25 fee. Bitch. Actually, you're the one that came up with that. You're a bitch. I went back and I listened to the first No Nut November episode. You're the one who made this problem.
You're still salty about that. I think it's so funny.
I am.
I think it's funny.
Come back.
I think it's sussy that you and I have been so honest about how we've been doing with No Nut November, and Spencer's been extremely non-committal. He's just like, oh, really? Wow. And he's not sharing with the rest of the class. I think he failed first day.
I think so too. He acts like he doesn't give a shit. And it pisses me off, so it means he nutted already.
Probably.
Definitely.
He just hasn't confirmed it yet.
Yeah. Or he's been edging the entire month.
That's true.
Because he seems a lot more angry than normal.
You didn't even think that was possible.
No, I didn't. And then I saw his pissy face. It's like, oh, there he is.
Well, let's roll straight into the news because it is a news week. We're going to get the tough one out of the way from DC.com. Actor Kevin Conroy, the most beloved voice of Batman in the animated history of the character, died this Thursday at age 66 after a short battle with cancer. Noted stage, film, and television. I don't know why that became television.
Television.
I am stupid. A noted stage, film, and television performer, Conroy rose to unparalleled voice acting fame as the title character of the landmark Batman the Animated Series from 1992 to 1996. He would establish never-to-be-broken records as the quintessential voice of Batman, bringing the superhero to animated life in nearly 60 different productions, including 15 films, highlighted by the acclaimed Batman Mask of the Phantasm, 15 animated series spanning nearly 400 episodes and more than 100 hours of television, as well as 24 video games. Conroy was also featured as a live-action Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse's 2019 to 2020 Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event. In recent years, Conroy was a notable fixture on the con circuit, greeting fans with the same warmth, respect, and enthusiasm they reserved for him. The article has a bunch of nice things said by nice people, such as Andrea Romano and Mark Hamill, who played opposite Conroy in many of the productions as the Joker. This one bummed me out yesterday when we found out, because I've said for years and years and years, partly just to be a wise guy, when people find out I'm a nerd or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, well, who's your favorite Batman? And they're thinking like Christian Bale, and I'm like, nuh-uh, nope, it's Kevin Conroy, man. That's the best Batman. They're like, who the heck is that? It's like, man, haven't you seen the animated series?
Haven't you played any of the Arkham video games?
Right. Well, I mean, it's usually boomers, so they don't play video games. They're too cool for that. But I mean, he's been my choice forever. Like he's my favorite, far and away, and especially trying to play a Batman game for this coming month's Dime Gaming Bros. It's just like it sucks.
Mhm.
Sucks that we're not gonna get any more great works from a great actor.
He was definitely he set the bar for what it is to sound like Batman and Bruce Wayne. And like he is just ingrained into everyone's mind forever. It is very sad that we will not be seeing or hearing Kevin Conroy Batman and any other adaptations ever again. But I like to look back and appreciate how many we actually got. Like there's so much. There's so much there to look at. And I feel like even for the ones I didn't like, I appreciated, like especially the live action role that he played. I really thought that was clever of them to do. And I really admired Kevin Conroy for doing it, just doing like a live action role as Bruce Wayne. And I thought that was fantastic. He will be dearly missed.
I knew that he was huge in the conventions too. He seemed like a super cool dude and was like always at the conventions. So it's too bad we aren't gonna get to see him.
He was at the conventions a lot, and so he was banned because he accidentally spoiled the existence of Batman Arkham Knight.
Really?
Yeah, because what happened was he didn't know that Batman Arkham Origins was a thing or that it existed. And so people were like, oh, are you the voice in the new Batman game and in the new Arkham game? He's like, yeah, of course I am. And they're like, oh, Arkham Origins? And he's like, no. And they're like, what video game are you talking about? And then it surfaced that there's a fourth game.
Oh, no. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's how everyone knew that there's a fourth game, even though Arkham Origins hasn't even come out yet. Because I remember hearing about that too. I just didn't know where the source came from. I found that out like earlier this year. It was because of him. And so Warner Brothers or DC, whatever, higher ups were like, yeah, you're banned from going to cons now. You can't go because you can't talk. And he's like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Right.
Sort of angry uproar. Eventually came back, of course. And he came back in a shining way with like doing tons of stuff for fans. And he was just a great guy.
We should move on though.
Yeah. It's time to move on. You'll be missed. I'm going to do a small one. I want to skip.
I was waiting for you to pull the notebook out so you could rip paper. Oh, here we go.
Skipping that one because I don't give a shit. Exclusive from Deadline.com. Netflix has greenlit a second season of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. Deadline understands that the streamer is bringing back the comic book adaptation after various conflicting reports starting to surface online. The Sandman, which launched at the start of August, was watched for 69.5 million hours in its first week, doubling this in its second to 127.5 million, scoring 77.2 million in its third week and getting 53.8 million in its fourth.
You missed a nice in there.
Nice. The renewal, oh my gosh, my voice. The renewal confirmation follows an accidental leak on Wednesday by DC Comics official Twitter page. Accidental. The since deleted tweet read, "The dream continues. The Sandman will return with new episodes based on multiple volumes of the Neil Gaiman graphic novel to explore even more stories of the endless."
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
I'm excited. I love that show. It was fantastic. I creamed a lot while watching it. It because I loved. Oh my gosh, my phone's listening to me. I gotta sneeze. Hold on.
so it's a good thing that we didn't watch this during November because you creamed a lot.
Yeah. Man, I like the comic a lot, and there was a lot of things that I felt like were slow, and lucky enough, they kind of like cut those parts that I thought were kind of slow, and they just fixed it, and it feels really good. And I'm excited for the second season.
It had a very loud and happy reception. So, and they set it up to lead right into season 2. So it's really not a surprise. It would have been more of a surprise if they canceled it.
Yeah.
So, wow. From Marvel.com, fresh off of Spider-Gwen: Gwenverse, which introduced exciting heroic versions of Ghost Spider from throughout the multiverse, Gwen Stacy of Earth 65 will headline a sequel limited series, but this time around, instead of meeting new allies, she'll be confronted by dangerous new foes. Written by Emily Kim and drawn by Ki Zama, Spider-Gwen: Shadow Clones will turn Ghost Spider's life upside down as she's targeted by clones of herself based on Spidey's greatest villains. So it's basically DC Metal, where they took Batman and made everybody a Batman, but, you know, according to the other character, they're doing it with Spider-Man now, or Spider-Gwen, or whatever. Wow.
When's the last time that we had a Spider-Gwen run?
I don't know.
I think like 2018, honestly.
That long?
Yeah, because that's when I stopped reading.
I get confused because, like, Silk is always going on too, and that's kind of Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl.
Well, that's Silk.
It's separate. But I just look at covers and I go, oh, look, Spider-Girl. Another Spider-Girl.
Spider female.
Don't make me bonk you.
Well, Silk is literally horny jail. I'm
gonna finish the article now.
Wait, hold on. I need to preface. The reason why I say that, because I don't know the character at all, and I don't want to get canceled. The reason why I say that is because in lore, whenever her and Peter Parker are in the same room, for some reason, the writers are like, yeah, it's a good idea that they can't not fuck when they're in the same room. Like, whenever they're together, they have to fuck. Like, that's the lore. It's so fucked up.
Oh, okay. Over the course of 5 daring issues, readers will see the debuts of a host of new Gwen villains, all once again designed by comics visionary Peach Momoko. Hailing from an alternate reality where Gwen was bitten by a radioactive spider and gained spider-like powers, Ghost Spider has been embraced by comic fans since she debuted in 2014. Over the years, readers have watched Ghost Spider rise as one of Marvel's brightest heroes, but now they and Gwen alike will witness her at her most twisted. Ghost Spider comes face to face with some of the deadliest Spider-Man villains, including Doc Ock, Sandman, but not that one, Vulture, and more. But wait, why do they all look like Gwen? Some of these articles
What the
like
fuck?
repeat themselves so much. It's very confusing. Okay,
Yeah.
so more Spider-Gwen multiverse. Yay.
But the bad guys also look like Spider-Gwen?
Yeah. They're all Spider-Gwen based bad guys.
This doesn't sound good.
That's why I made the metal reference, because that's what they did with Batman.
Yeah, that sounds bad. Also, I looked it up, by the way. Her series spanned from 2015 to 2018. That was correct.
And then there was no more series.
Yeah, that was like her whole series.
No. Nobody else picked it up. There was no other stories.
No, I'm pretty sure. I looked it up.
I will fact check your fact checking.
Was the last?
Continue editing the news, please.
That one looks too long. So I think that we should do a little bit of editing. From Variety.com, Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya.
Kaluuya.
Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya.
Kaluuya.
Wow, I hate this. Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya is swinging into Sony's Spider-Verse. Stop! Don't make me laugh. What is his name?
I don't know, but we do this joke every week. It is so funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna keep going. Take two. From Variety.com, Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya is swinging into Sony's Spider-Verse. The actor has joined the cast of Sony Pictures Animation's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a sequel to the groundbreaking Into the Spider-Verse, which has nabbed an Academy Award. He will be voicing the role of Hobbit Boy. Hobby. Wow.
Hobart.
His nickname's Hobie.
Also known as.
AKA Hobie. AKA Hopper. AKA the Spider. AKA Spider-Punk. There you go, boys.
It's fun recording with you.
Yeah, it's just so sick. I can barely fucking talk. Yeah, so thoughts on...
I don't know too much about Spider-Punk. I've seen things like mentioned in YouTube videos and whatever. I go, oh, that's cool, I guess, but I've never actually read anything with him in it. So I'm excited.
All I know is that
Punk is cool.
Punk still lives, so fuck yeah.
From IGN.com. Dark Knight's death metal writer Scott Snyder has been keeping very busy since wrapping up his massive Justice League epic and moving on from DC. Snyder's latest new creator-owned series is a post-apocalyptic adventure called By a Thread. And the biggest twist with this new series is that it's co-created by Snyder's eldest son, Jack. By a Thread is written by the Snyders, drawn by Valeria Favoccia, and colored by Whitney Kogar. The series is set in a world ravaged by an infection, but rather than your run-of-the-mill zombie plague, this infection rises up from the ground and devours anything it touches. The earth itself is no longer safe to touch. When my teenage son Jack brought me the idea over the summer, I thought it would be an incredible opportunity for us, and we've been working on it ever since, Scott Snyder tells IGN. As a dad, I'm so proud and grateful to share this experience with him, and we hope the fun we're having creating it is evident when it's released. I'm thrilled also to be working with one of the brightest young talents in the business, Valeria Favoccia, as our co-creator. Like all Comixology original titles, By a Thread will be free to read for subscribers of Comixology Unlimited, Kindle Unlimited, and Prime Reading, and this series can also be purchased individually. Zombies go brrrr.
Sounds cool. He's getting his son into the comic book world.
Yeah.
That is very cool. And I'm not jealous at all that this boy has a dad who's in the comic book business. Bring him into the comic book world. Fuck you.
You
I'm
just
your doppelganger, and I'm going to replace you. I'm going to be
You-
his son.
you just need to find a comic book daddy that'll adopt you.
I do. I mean, I've been trying. I've talked to 2 comic book artists already. Why have they adopted me? Well, Daniel seemed like he was about to adopt me. But I think
But then he went and had a kid.
then he had a kid. So yeah, that can't happen.
All right. Last bit of news.
Fuck. Take one. Wow, what the fuck? From DC.com. I'm sorry. All I can think about is Spencer going, DC.com.
He got on my case really hard last week. I'm saying calm. Calm.
He literally says come when he says it. He's like, I'm saying come. You're saying come. Yes, you are saying come. You are saying come, Spencer. Bonk.
He gets so butthurt about it.
I love getting Spencer to be so butthurt because he's like, it's like he's not aware of how butthurt he gets. Or like how much of like a child he gets sometimes because he's like trying to be adult. Like he has no idea how much of a child he sounds like at the time. I love it. All right, so from DC.com, Jaime Reyes, aka DC's Blue Beetle, will debut a new solo comic book series from writer Josh Trujillo and artist Adrian Gutierrez. On sale November 29th. The comic will be simultaneously available in both English and Espanol editions. Fans can pre-order the Spanish language edition of Blue Beetle Graduation Day #1 with their local comic book shop. Head down to the Jetpack Comics, downtown Rochester. That's where you need to go. That should be your local comic book store. Continuing, fans first got a peek at the new series in DC's Round Robin 2021. Round Robin?
I have no idea.
Round Robin.
We'll get a phone call from Spencer and he'll be like, he doesn't know what that is.
But he's dead.
Right. It'll be
Spencer's
beyond the
rolling
grave.
in his grave right now.
He's gonna call us on the black phone.
Okay, so fans first got a peek at the new series in DC's Round Robin 2021, which has returned as a 6-issue series following Jaime as he graduates from high school and attempts to figure out his future responsibility to his scarab and what comes next for him as a superhero. Blue Beetle Graduation Day will introduce new characters like the Yellow Beetle, as well as familiar faces from across the DC universe. I don't know much about. Okay, first, I haven't read a single Blue Beetle comic, but I was introduced to Blue Beetle when he was getting like popular, and that started during Batman Brave and the Bold.
I knew that's where you were going.
You knew it?
I knew it.
Yeah, I loved him growing up. I thought he was so cool. I had an action figure of him. I thought he was so cool. He's always hanging out with Batman. They like showed him like all the time. Like, yeah, he was like always hanging out with Batman. And I also saw him in Young Justice, of course. So those are like my only 2 ways of knowing who he is. And it seems pretty consistent with how he is. And
you know way more about him than I do. I've only played as him like once or twice in Injustice 2. And I said, wow, this moveset kind of blows. And I moved on to a different character.
Yeah, they nerfed him. Blue Beetle's actually really cool, but it's like another Spider-Man situation where they're always wanting to keep him in like high school. So I'm glad that he's finally getting out of high school, because I am kind of I'm getting sick of seeing these superheroes staying in high school forever. And I know it's so that can be relatable to high school kids. But if I'm being honest, the people that are reading comics are the ones that grew up with it a couple years ago, where I feel personally, I feel like we're coming into this stage, this like generation, where it's like early Gen Z are the ones that were reading comics and then are still going with it, the ones who still like it. And there's not many new kids coming into comics. Of course, there's always going to be kids loving superheroes and watching them on TV or playing them with video games, but like not really reading. Like I wasn't going to get into reading comic books until like for serious, until Hellboy really caught my eye. But and I understand that that's supposed to relate to younger kids, but I think we should also reward the audience that has been there for years, the satisfaction of seeing their character actually grow up and changing, because we love to see characters change.
I can see your point. I don't think it's just to your generation. I think, my generation are still reading comics too. And every time...
No, that's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying.
I see what you're saying, but also every time I go into Jetpack, there are little kids running around. Like it's good. I like
because of their parents, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and
that's good.
Their parents are sharing it with them. They're like, you get $5, choose 2 books or whatever. Like,
and that's why I'm saying it's like a small demographic. Of course, there's kids. I didn't deny that.
Right.
I'm saying it's a small demographic.
And I'm saying it's not just to your generation that's growing out of the high school era, because my generation had that a while ago when you were first getting into comics. You see what I mean? It's a circle.
Yes. And I'm saying we're entering that circle. I'm not saying it's a new thing. I'm saying we're entering that circle again.
It's going around again.
Yeah, because like I would say the time period where it felt like everyone was reading comics was probably like 2 years ago. That's what I feel like anyways.
Interesting.
It felt like a lot of people. So this week we will be able to talk about Star Wars and or Bullet Train. And this week we decided that we're going to talk about the movie led by the main character, my dad's movie boyfriend, Brad Pitt, Bullet Train.
This is why we don't let you do segues. Even if there was like a Segway standing up right next to you, we would not let you ride it. We're like, no, you're not allowed to touch it.
Why not? Why not? They're funny. Everyone loves my Segways. And Star Wars and or Bullet Train. Come on. That was great. That was the best one I've done in years.
I just watched this movie yesterday, actually. And I had I was interested, but I just didn't make it to the theater to see it. So I rented it without seeing anything about it besides the trailer. I saw the trailer once. I was like, all right, that seems cool. So I rented it.
I knew that I wanted to watch that just in the trailer.
I'm pretty sure you and Spencer have agreed that it's a dad movie, pretty much. Was it that, or was it a different movie?
No, because okay, so to be a dad movie, it technically has to be bad.
Ooh.
This in no way, shape is bad at all.
I don't know about that. There are some good dad movies.
No, okay. most dad movies are like technically bad, I think. So give me a good dad movie. Let's just like.
Any of the John Wicks.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You are right. You are right. Never mind. So that's taken out of the category. Radar has been recalibrated. Dad movie it is. Good point. It was a good point.
I couldn't believe how many actors I knew in this. It was an all-star cast.
Okay, so I want to be honest. I kind of felt old watching this, even though I'm fucking 22. I felt old because I know growing up, I'd watch movies with my dad all the time. And he's like, oh my word, I know all these actors. I know who this is. I know who this is. And like growing up, I've never known any actors or anything. And then after watching this, and I'm like, holy shit, I know everyone.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was kind of bummed too because what's her face? The mute lady from The Boys and also Katana from the shitty Suicide Squad. She had like such a small role. I was hoping the point of this movie is that it's a train full of assassins and they're all there to like kill each other, sort of. And they have her who's been a badass in so many other things, and she's just an attendant. She's like, here, you want some popcorn and a water? Okay, bye, and leaves. And that's it. That's her whole role. I was hoping she would be like a twist assassin later, but she wasn't.
No. I have a fat crush on her. I love her.
Me too.
Dude, I've had a fat crush on her ever since she was Katana.
Yeah.
Like, really. I was like, who is this lady? Who is this woman? She's got souls trapped in a sword. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Bonk. You get a bonk.
No, we don't have the bonk jar, bitch.
It still counts. I'll take the recording of like last week where the quarter drops in. I'll just cut it into this one.
Fuck you. No, you said we don't have it this week. And only Wesley.
Wow.
Same person, basically. Only Spencer. They're the same person, just on the opposite side of the spectrum. Spencer gets bonked. He's the only one that gets bonked this week.
I said we had to do a no bonk episode, and you went there. You deserve a bonk.
Ah!
You failed.
No. I said I had a fat crush. It's nothing sexual. You are the sexual deviant. I just said I had a fat crush. And I'm like, wow, this lady is so pretty. She's so beautiful.
I didn't say it was because of her. I said it's because of the sword with the souls in it. That's what you need.
What the fuck? Fuck you. No way.
Anyway, Michael Shannon is in here. He played Zod.
White Death.
Yep, he did.
I felt that was really good. He was very entertaining and very funny. I like
it's so weird. I've seen him in other things too, but it's like, who is this guy? Oh, it's Zod. He never looks like Zod. It's always like, I know that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't get his head. Every time I see him, like, oh, Zod. Every time. Because even when he tries to change his accent, his screaming is still a Zod scream. Because it's just him. He's just Zod. And I've seen him in other things. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Zod. Like Knives Out.
Yeah.
That one was actually a little bit more because he played like a little wimp, like a little cucky boy. But in this, he's like, I fuck your mom and your dad. Like he's like bomb buster, you know.
I knew going into this, it's like a minute in, and there's like a little blurb on TV, as they're changing the channels. There's a news report. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be used later. Like it's just that movie where it's like you have to pay attention. There's so many visual gags and just details. It almost goes too far with how detailed it is. It like took twists from like little details that they sprinkled in at the beginning. It gets a little bit repetitive, I guess, with just how much attention to detail there is. It's really weird. It's hard to describe.
I felt like that TV part was very obvious. Like, you need to pay attention. This is going to come back. It wasn't just like is this going to come back? No, it was totally obvious. Like, there's a reason for it. Like, this whole movie, every scene, every little thing, like there was a reason it was there, or the right. Put it in. But I do love how everything was so connected, and like for a reason, everyone was technically connected.
Right.
Like everyone. And it was really cool.
It on one hand, it's like a really complicated story. But then on the other hand, it's like everybody's related or is trying to kill each other.
Yeah, and then there's our main character who literally just took the job because the other assassin called in sick, so he doesn't even need to be there. He's not supposed to be there.
I love how he's just absolutely shitting on that other agent through the whole movie, and it turns out that it's Ryan Reynolds.
I love that Ryan Reynolds always plays the asshole. Like, he loves doing that for some reason. Like, he loves being the asshole. So the best way I can explain this movie, and the reason why it's so detailed, is that it's a D&D game. It is literally a like session of D&D.
Explain yourself, sir.
Okay, so when you play D&D, it's either one of two things. One, everything's fucking bullshit. Like, everything is like out of the DM's ass, like straight out. Like, he has no story. He just can talk real well for some reason. And he is a good liar, I guess. But then you have the DMs that have spent months cultivating information, so everything can be so intertwined, and the lore is so deep, and everything's connected. And that's what this is. Everything's so connected. Everything has a purpose. You can't deviate from the story. It's like, this is what's going on. And there's so many goofy moments. Like, every single time our main character, Brad Pitt, hold on, don't say it. Ladybug, code name, Ladybug. Anytime Ladybug is like fighting someone, it's like he just won a dexterity saving throw, or or like a death saving throw, or like he got like nat 20s the entire fucking game. It's like he has a rigged
die
20 sided die, like attack die, you know. It's so stupid. And then some people like insight, like just try to like people understanding things, like just how ridiculous it is, or like how some people get like drawn the small straw out of like the whole situation. They're just fucked immediately. Like the wolf dies immediately, like so fucking fast. Like, they introduce him and all this, he's like so cool, whatever, and then dies immediately. That's such a D&D thing to do, is like tell someone's entire backstory. It's a new character you're introduced to, and then he dies in your arms like 5 minutes later. It's D&D 101.
Very, very interesting. I still need you to DM a game for me.
Oh, I've never done that before. I don't think I could.
You wanted to a year ago, and then
I did want to, but I don't believe in myself.
I think you would want to be the one that pays so much attention to detail, but I think you would be the better DM to just pull it out of your ass on the spot.
Oh, yeah, no. I know for sure that Spencer and I are the polar opposites in DM.
Oh, yeah.
I do not want Spencer as my DM because he's going to be so butthurt. He's going to be so into the rules of shit. And then I am going to be like, I would have a story, right? I would have a story, and I'd have like the main points of like what we're hitting, but how we connect it together is going to be total bullshit. Like, it's going to be whatever happens. And I'm just going to lead you to that point. Eventually, it's going to be like a Mike Mignola book. Like, Mike Mignola has like all these points of like where he wants you to go, but he's just writing the story like bullshit through the entire series just to connect these things. So I would do it like that. And I am a rule of cool guy. If it's cool, I'll fucking let it pass.
Nice.
For sure. I don't give a shit. I want this to be fun. I want it to be cool as shit.
Right.
Give me a cool story.
So in the movie, there were these two assassins called Tangerine and Lemon.
Oh, I love them.
One of them is like crazy into Thomas the Tank Engine. And
he's only into it because it taught him how to read people.
Right. Well, one, I can see you pulling that bullshit and driving everybody crazy. Like, nobody watched that show. And two, watching this movie and having them talk about Thomas the Tank Engine so very much, I was like, man, now I kind of feel bad for my mom trying so hard to get me into that show, but it was so boring. I hate it. I just didn't care as a kid. Like, it's so weird because I'm slightly interested now.
You know what that means? It's because you're autistic.
Just because he was talking about the different kinds of trains, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Trains can be actually pretty cool. But I shouldn't have to learn trains from a kid's show that not a single kid on this earth likes.
Oh, definitely not. I loved those two. Those two were my favorite. I also love that. No, that was Lemon. Lemon was the one that was into trains, and then Tangerine was the other brother who always couldn't help himself but needed to steal stuff.
I can't believe they had
little gimmicks.
I can't believe they had the joke in the movie where Ladybug's handler is like, oh, the twins, and Brad Pitt's like, I don't think they're twins. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh my word, you are such a turd. I love that though.
It's funny.
It is. I love it. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Just risque.
I wanted to talk about them a little bit more. I was like super sad when they're like slowly dying. Like, I hated that. Like, the enemy subs. I wanted them. I know that Ladybug was our main character, but I wanted Lemon and Tangerine to be like the center of attention. Like, these guys are the ones that are going to come out on top. And then we move on to, we get the wolf, and then there's the snake, the viper. I don't know what her name is. The hornet.
That's what it was.
The hornet, which was the lady who played Domino.
Yeah, Zazie Beetz.
Yeah, Zazie Beetz. See, I don't know all their names, but I can recognize their faces.
It was really funny that they had Zazie Beetz in a big blow up anime teddy bear doll most of the movie. And
I loved that.
And like Brad Pitt punches her in the face inside of the anime teddy bear doll suit.
Yes.
Many funny gags with the anime teddy bear doll suit.
Every time you say teddy bear, it sounds like you're saying titty bear.
I mean, if the boot fits.
Bonk. Yeah, I just love how goofy that was. I really enjoyed that. I do. So I felt like this movie did a lot of like cool things concerning like actor roles. So like we have all these big name actors, right? But they're not all in it equally, or like they're not in it to show their face. They're in it to literally just play the characters. Like they're just there to play the characters of the story, right? And how like the story wants, and only like show up as often as the story wants them to, which I really enjoyed. Like I want more movies to do that. Like, yeah, we have big name actors, but they don't all need to be like center to attention. Just like, because when you make them center attention, they get typecasted, and you can just have them as is. Like I've seen what's his face that played Tangerine play tons of different characters now. Like I haven't really seen him typecasted except for like I guess the attractive male, but like he's just an attractive male. It's not really a typecast.
Another great joke that I loved very much because I think the same thing. Brad Pitt meets Lemon and he's like, "Don't you remember me?" And Lemon is like, "You look like every single white homeless dude I've ever seen." And I think that's mostly because of Brad Pitt's haircut.
Oh
But
yeah.
it was so funny. I really hate Brad Pitt's hair.
Oh yeah, me too. I hate his haircut. Brad Pitt's so weird. Like he's a great actor, but like he always looks so weird.
Yeah.
Like he can never like he doesn't know what he wants to look like or like what he wants to settle on.
I rented this movie for $1.25 from Redbox, and it was worth it.
I think I bought it on Amazon Prime.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you rewatch it?
I watched it twice now.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was kind of not fair. I started it, and then somebody got home. I was like, "Hey, I think you might like this movie," so I restarted it. But then a whole bunch of life happened. So we were like a minute in, and then somebody else got home, and I said, "I think you should like this movie." And life keeps happening, so we're only a minute in. So I saw the first minute like 3 times.
Why would you do that?
Because I still live with peoples, and I instead of being that guy that's like, "Yeah, I'll finish the movie and then get out of your way," I was like, "No, sit with me."
They can still sit with you. They don't. Are they the type of people that need to see the whole movie, or can they just sit and watch?
That movie though, you can't come in 45 minutes late, and
So it's a you thing. It's a you thing.
we're moving on.
Got you.
I read Aquaman Andromeda #3, written, I'm pretty sure by Ram V. Hold on.
Horny.
No.
Horny.
Maybe you are.
Aquaman is fucking horny, dude. Doesn't need to come up for air.
Yeah, written by Ram V. And there's a Christian Ward credited too, but I don't know why. This is a Black Label book. It wraps up the series, I guess. It's a 3-issue series. Very, very good. I'm happy that it wrapped up well because it was kind of a rough start and a rough middle, but it came together nicely. And it's very, very nice looking, very unique artwork. I think the artist it was probably Ram V again, did a lot of work to be inspired by water. You look at any shot from these 3 books and you're like, that looks like water. Or there's water in it, which is very appropriate for an Aquaman book.
Where there's water.
Lots of water.
Lots of water. I love the design of Aquaman's like suit in this.
Yeah, and sometimes he looks like all crusty and old and gross and scary, and sometimes he's all cleaned up and nice shaven and clean looking. So that's relevant to the story.
Oh, okay. I guess I should read it then.
Yeah, you should.
So I'm used to Aquaman looking like one particular thing, and then I saw him.
The one from Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I see, or like his traditional like orange top and like green legs and whatever.
Like in Super Friends?
Yeah. But when I saw the sketch or the ink for this, when we first talked about it in the news, like a year ago or 2 years, I don't know. But we talked about it and I saw it and I saw how like different his costume was. And you saw tons of barnacle and like just sea life on him. I'm like, whoa, that actually looks more like Aquaman than any other Aquaman I've seen, I think.
Yeah.
Like when I think of Aquaman, that's what I think of. It's like just this dude that looks like he's a part of the ocean bed. I'm like, yeah, I want Aquaman to be like some type of like sea monster type of thing. Yeah.
It's pretty cool too. It's got like Alien or I don't know. It's got that weird sci-fi feel to it, but it does the classic 90s movie. We saw space 20 years ago, but now let's do that underwater. So it's got that,
Water.
yeah, it's got that cool sci-fi feel to it. A lot of pretty colors. It's nice. Each issue is $7, I think. I have a really love-hate relationship with Black Label.
Me
I
too.
prefer to wait the 50 years for 3 issues to come out and get collected in a book and just have a book instead of getting the single issues. But I'd say it's worth the price.
I might get it. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I advise you to get the book.
I will wait for the book then.
What have you done?
So let's see. I watched a movie on Netflix. Okay, so I watched All Quiet on the Western Front.
Whoa, throwback.
So this movie came out in hold on, I'm trying to find a synopsis. I need a cough.
A public service announcement. We had to push Power Bomb number 6 back a week because Collin was sick and could not go to the store to get his copy. So we will cover that next week.
Yes. So this movie came out this year on Netflix, and the synopsis goes as follows. War breaks out in Germany in 1914. Paul Baumer and his classmates quickly enlist in the army to serve their fatherland. No sooner are they drafted than the first images from the battlefield show them the reality of war. So,
I thought you watched the original. I see now.
no, I didn't watch the original. I saw it circulating on the internet and put into memes, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks visually like cool. It's about like 2 hours and like 30 minutes long.
Oh yeah, gulp it down.
Yeah. It's about like 2 hours and 30 minutes long. And it's really interesting. So like I am very naive to the history of war. I know that obviously it's dark and obviously there's shit, like tons of fucked up shit that happened. But like this is like the German side of the war, the First Great War, in the eyes of a child, basically. I mean, they're like high schoolers or whatever, but like they're children. They are children, and we follow 4 friends, and our main character Paul. We watch as he slowly drifts away into feeling nothing and just following what he's told to do. He watches his friends one by one get crushed, burned alive, and then never to be seen again. One kills himself because he can't walk, so he stabs himself in the throat with a fork. And then his last friend died by being shot in the gut by the child of a farmer that they were stealing geese from to feed themselves while they were stuck in this epidemic. It wasn't necessarily unsettling because the movie made it so, but like it was the small details that were disturbing. Like we first open up in the movie where we see people children basically go out to war and they're in the trenches and they jump out of the trenches. And in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck are they going out of the trenches? If they know they're just going to get shot, why the fuck are they leaving the trenches? Like, there's no fucking point. Like, yeah, you'll get to the other side. Maybe if there's enough of you that die and you kill them, they're just going to come back and take that one trench. It's like, they don't move forward that much. But they're leaving the trenches and they're fighting, and we see all these people die. And then after that, they like collect their body. They remove all the garments from them. They put them in caskets. At least they put them in caskets and put them in the ground. That's like something. I was surprised by that. And then they take the clothes, they wash them, they sew them back up, and they give them to the new recruits in like maybe less than 3 months, maybe less than one. They just like send them off. Nothing new, because they have to be reused. It's just fucked to think about, because our main character gets some other kid's clothes that died, and he thinks like, oh, hey, this is someone else's, got a different name on it. And then the recruiter's like, oh, it probably just didn't fit the guy. It happens all the time. He rips it off and he gives it to him, and then he has like a little stare as he leaves. And it's like, jeez, the guys, the recruiters know. They know. And this is shit that still goes on. But it was just an interesting movie. I wouldn't say it's fun. Like, it's emotional. Did it make me cry? It makes Spencer cry, obviously. But I'd watch it again. I would watch it again.
Interesting.
It was a very well done war movie, and it wasn't by the Americans. It was by the Germans, I think.
Can you give it a rating?
I give this a 5.5 out of 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was an actual honest rating too.
Yeah.
No cupcakes or twinkle toes or titties.
No.
Really quick, I read Demon Hunter, the band, long-time Christian metal hardcore band, released an album less than a month ago called Exile.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the album, they released a comic book.
What the fuck?
Yep.
What?
Exile is their first concept CD, I think is what they call it. It's all based on an idea, and their songs investigate the idea. And it's something about the end of the world, and kind of like a 1984 scenario where freedom is dead is a big topic.
Freedom is dead.
Anyway, I've been waffling back and forth on what I think about the CD, because it could mean a lot of big, bad, scary things that I really don't want to go to. It could be like a lot of angry boomer noises that are bad and cringe, or it could be super simple, which is fine, but not what I'm used to coming from Demon Hunter. I'm used to there being something behind it. So I'm kind of been back and forth on it, and that's exactly how I feel about the comic book too. As far as the story goes, it's still so walking the line of being bad boomer cringe or being fine at face value. So I don't know. I still can't make heads or tails of it. The artwork is great. The pencil work is good. The colors are fantastic. The coloring is probably my highest point. It feels kind of like the first book of the comic book version of Dune that came out 2 years ago, I think. It's got that nice soft coloring. It's the first issue of 4. I am going to keep up with it, but I don't know if I'll keep talking about it on the show. Maybe I'll wait until the end. But it is a book that you didn't know existed, so that was fun to talk about.
That's really cool. I'm just excited that they have a comic book. That seems really cool.
Yeah,
it's
it's
5 minutes, by the way.
written by the lead singer. He's been going pretty hard for the marketing and all kinds of stuff based on the CD. So I don't know. It's very weird, and I'm a little nervous, but whatever.
So where did you get the comic from? Like, did it come with the?
I bought it at the same website that I got the record from.
Do you have a physical copy or is it digital?
I can lend it to you.
Yes, please.
When you're not sick.
Yes, I don't want to get you sick.
All right, we have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to run through the credits really fast. We've already mentioned them. Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They have a sexy-ass commercial playing at my local movie theater. I saw a couple of times yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it's Rich doing the voiceover. He sounds cool and badass. As the commercial says, they have a bunch of comics and games and toys and cards and everything else to appease your nerdy needs. Appease your nerdy needs. Oh, I like that. We are supported by two super cool patrons, Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin. They went over to patreon.com/dimecomicbros and signed up under one of 3 tiers that we have available there. You should check it out because it comes with some cool perks like stickers and artwork done by Collin and behind the scenes recordings. It's usually stuff that's too spicy or just doesn't fit into an episode. We throw it up on Patreon, and also our after episode show that we do most weeks called Happy Hour, where we crack open a beer and put our feet up and just relax after a hard day of podcasting, because we put a lot of time and work into this, and it's hard work reading comic books for a job we hardly get paid for. So please consider going to patreon.com/dimecomicbros and supporting us there. If we said something that triggered a thought in your brain and you want to share that something with us, please go to Instagram or Twitter, Dime Comic Bros again, or you can email us old school style, boomer style. Email us at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. Next week, we are covering The Incredibles, the movie that came out. Incredibles was probably my first superhero thing ever.
Wow. It was my first superhero thing that wasn't DC or Marvel.
I mean, that's a pretty easy target to hit, though.
Yeah.
No, I think this was... I think it was the first superhero thing ever that I watched.
Wow. It's a good one.
It is. It's probably what's...
Yeah, a lot of really good characters like Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible.
And the Little Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl. She's a good character.
Join us next week for that. Hopefully, it'll be all 3 of us in person so that we can have a bunk jar. Because who doggy, Collin's gonna need it.
Nope. No. I appreciate her as the woman that she is. She's a human being, not a object of desire in any way. No.
Even as a small boy, when she slinks through his legs and says, "You need to be more flexible," I was like, what is going on?
Is that a bug? Is that a bug?
No, my pee-pee didn't work like that at the time. But I knew it. There was something about it.
That, what's funny? That was probably my first mommy crush. That's what got me into MILFs.
I'm sure.
That is for sure what got me into moms. It's been downhill ever since.
Or uphill?
Yeah, I say so. Yeah, uphill.
Would you mind muting yourself while I read this?
Am I not muted right now?
No.
What the fuck? I've been using like this stupid.
No, it's not working.
Fuck.
I'm playing Arkham Origins, and I would have sworn it was him doing the voice, but
No, it's a young guy. They're all different actors.
dang. Yeah, I've never even heard of this guy. Well, now I look stupid because that's the game I've been playing, and like all bummed out that he's dead.
Yeah, he's not in that.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I saw our common crush at the theater yesterday.
Common crush?
Yeah, Joshua was in the same theater as me,
Josh was?
and he brought his waifu, so I got to meet her
When was this?
last night, 8:30.
Yeah, he was telling me that he was going to the theater.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I looked back. I was in the front. He was in the back. I'm like, that's Josh.
Yeah.